Obviously, my main issue with Donald Trump centers around the most consequential things that he actually does. What is he impacting? The way that he's gutting crucial agencies and organizations within our government, the way that funding for people who need it is drying up, the way that he's handing over all of this power to an unelected billionaire, Elon, right? All those things, how he's going to handle world affairs, his proposal or whatever it was on Gaza. But then because there's so much of that going on, we've sort of stopped talking about what is also so unfortunate about him representing the United States on the world stage and representing the presidency, even just within this country. And that is sort of how he carries himself and how speeches like the one you're about to watch go. Before playing this clip, Mediaite reported on this. Trump goes on stunning riff about deadly air crash and golf balls at prayer breakfast speech. He really does just sort of riff, and it, especially given the subject matter and the setting, it just is so uncomfortable and so inappropriate. President Donald Trump went off on a stunning riff about the deadly air crash, comparing the collision with the infrequency of golf balls hitting each other. On Thursday morning, Trump gave what appeared to be almost completely improvised remarks at the National Prayer Breakfast at Statuary Hall in the U.S. Capitol, and it describes it as Trump drifting between points. So not only does he have to inflict us with his policy choices, but he also can't just represent the presidency respectably, obviously. While you watch, if you appreciate the show, please do click the subscribe button. I'm going to try to just play this for you without interrupting, and then we'll look at other clips so you can really grasp what it would have been like to be in that room as he just starts saying increasingly difficult to follow things.
That event, like the tragedy last week, should remind us all that we have to make the most out of every single day that we have. Who would think that you're in space and two things collide? The odds of that happening are so small, even without proper control. We should have had the proper control. We should have had better equipment. We don't. We have obsolete equipment. They were understaffed for whatever reason. I guess the helicopter was high, and we'll find out exactly what happened. But the odds, even if you had nothing, if you had nobody, the odds of that happening are extremely small. It's like, did you ever see, you go to a driving range in golf and you're hitting balls, hundreds of balls, thousands of hours. I never see a ball hit another ball. Balls going up all over the place. You never see them hit. It was amazing that could happen. There was a lot of mistakes made, and it should have never happened. But regardless of that, it's amazing that it happened. And I think that's going to be used for good. I think what is going to happen is we're all going to sit down and do a great computerized system for our control towers. Brand new, not pieced together, obsolete like it is land-based, trying to hook up a land-based system to a satellite system. And the first thing that some experts told me when this happened is, you can't hook up land to satellites and you can't hook up satellites to land. It doesn't work. And we spent billions and billions of dollars trying to renovate an old broken system instead of just saying, cut it loose, and let's spend less money and build a great system done by 2 or 3 companies, very good companies, specialists, that's all it is. They used 39 companies. That means that 39 different hookups have to happen. And I don't know how many people of you are good in terms of all of the kind of things necessary for that, and it's very complex stuff. But when you have 39 different companies working on hooking up, different cities had different people, you need one company with one set of equipment. And there are some countries that have unbelievable air controller systems, and bells would have gone off when that helicopter literally even hit the same height, because it traveled a long distance before it hit. It was just wouldn't stop. It was, follow the line. But bells and whistles would have gone off. They have them where it actually could virtually turn the thing around. It would have just never happened if we had the right equipment. And one of the things that's going to be, I'm going to be speaking to John and to Mike and to Chuck and to everybody. We have to get together and just, as a single bill, just pass where we get the best control system. When I land in my plane, privately, I use a system from another country because my captain tells me I'm landing in New York and I'm using a system. I won't tell you what country, but I use a system from another country because the captain says this thing is so.
So I don't know really what to make of that, but you can let me know what you make of it. But a couple things here just on, I guess, the substance. The issue is, and I'm not even doing a blame game thing here. I'm just saying that the issue is this should serve as, among many other takeaways, but it should serve as an indication that maybe more investments, as he indicated, and more staffing and more regulations could be necessary, as opposed to running across the government in the opposite direction. So aside from the blame conversation, I'm just saying, doesn't this serve as a reminder of the importance of having a properly fleshed out federal workforce, properly staffed, but they're going in the opposite direction and saying, we want to gut all of these different agencies. Okay, maybe they're saying not aviation, but we saw that also federal workforce there is a part of those getting the notifications that we want you out. And so it just seems that he's, number one, there's a certain disrespect I perceive of spitballing like that, just kind of talking on something of such a heartbreaking and tragic nature. In some of the ways, I genuinely didn't even understand, or some of the time I didn't even understand what it was that he was saying. But beyond that, I guess, as crazy as this sounds, I would rather him be doing that than what he was doing when he first came out and responded, which was essentially giving a political attack speech. And he got so used to saying X wouldn't have happened, Y wouldn't have happened if I had been president, that it almost comes out of his mouth. That never should have happened. I agree, it never should have happened. But now he's president. But he still has found ways, DEI or something ridiculous, to say that all these people need to be blamed. Before, as I've mentioned to you, I even think such a conversation is appropriate. Sometimes there's blame to go around, but there was not even a second where we could find out what happened, and he was already blaming Pete Buttigieg, who's not in power anymore. And so I guess I'd rather whatever that was, as disrespectful as I perceive it, than the overt politicization for dishonest purposes that he was doing before. I have another clip from that speech, but yesterday, while signing his trans sports ban thing, he said something that I think tells you so much about his mind.
And Tommy Tuberville, a great coach. You know, his quarterback was named Mahomes. He was a great college coach. And I said, how good was he? He said, you don't want to know how good. He made me into a great coach. He's pretty good quarterback, right? Yeah, he was very good. He's a good guy, too.
So if you see discomfort in the faces of the folks behind him, it's because maybe they know, or maybe they don't, but maybe they do know that Tommy Tuberville never coached Patrick Mahomes. Just, they were never at the school at the same time. There wasn't a crossover and when Tuberville was coaching and Mahomes was playing. If Biden did that, and when he had moments like that where he'd mix things up, 24/7 Fox News story, right? Get him out of office. But when Trump does it, no one will even talk about it on Fox News. Except, I don't think, some people are making this sort of like it's a senior moment, right? I don't even want to make it about that. I think this proves how to his core, fundamentally dishonest he is, that he made up a conversation. So it's not that he went, wow, Tuberville coached Mahomes. That's amazing. And he just thought, I know that Tuberville at some point was at Texas Tech and Mahomes at some point, and he just crossed over the dates, and he goes, wow, that's interesting. No, that's not what he did. He said, so I asked Tuberville how great of a player was he? And Tuberville told me, he made me a better coach. So you have a few scenarios there. Number one is that Trump genuinely believes he had that conversation and he didn't. Scary. I don't think that's what happened. Option two, I think this could have happened. He went up to Tommy Tuberville and he said, wasn't Mahomes such a great quarterback? And what was it like coaching him? And Tuberville just didn't feel like correcting him and went, it was great. He made me a better coach. Okay, that could have happened. I think that's less likely than option three, which is Trump made this entire conversation up. So even on the little things, again, you have the big things where he's lying about a U.S. election. Okay, that's big. That's important. But on small, trivial things, he just makes up conversations, apparently. Yeah, Tuberville told me. Now knowing that it is impossible that conversation either happened or was a true conversation. Watch this again. Look at how he tells the story. Like it as true as the orange of his face.
And Tommy Tuberville, a great coach. You know, his quarterback was named Mahomes. He was a great college coach. And I said, how good was he? He said, you don't want to know how good. He made me into a great coach. He's pretty good quarterback, right? Yeah, he was very good.
Right? Yeah. Why aren't you nodding? Nod. That's right. Very good quarterback. Good boy, Tommy. Bubby. So strange. So strange. Just casually making up stories. You know, I was sitting at dinner last night, and Jaden, producer Jaden, he was sitting there and he looked across the table at me and he said, you are the most good-looking person I've ever met in my entire life. I said, whoa, bruh. no homo. I said, bruh, chill. We're brothers. We don't talk like that to each other. And he said, I'm sorry. I was struck by bam. Except, wait, we didn't go to dinner last night. Shoot. Oh, it's so weird. It's so weird. Okay, here is Trump.
I want to thank our great newly confirmed Secretary of the Interior, Doug Burgum, who's fantastic, by the way, for being here this morning. I don't know is he around? Where is he? He's right there. Right there. It's hard to see. With the lights, I can't. There you are. You are a handsome devil. He's a good-looking guy. He's got an even better-looking wife, I can tell you that. But I want to thank you and Catherine you've been fantastic. I knew immediately, he was running.
Doug, you got a hot wife, Doug.
In a group of people, and I spotted him immediately. I said, that guy's a winner. He didn't get the gravitas, because to get gravitas, you have to be controversial and, in many cases, a horrible human being. You get a lot of gravitas that way, and he's a very good human being and very smart.
Again, we're learning a lot about the mind of him, and I'm not liking it. Ugh. He's saying, this is the thing. Oh, it's so agitating. He knows that, especially in this world of social media, controversy sells. Now, what's unfortunate is I don't really know what we do about that when the controversial things he's doing now aren't just campaigns. They're not just jokes. They're real meaningful assaults. Like most recently, we're talking about him wanting to get rid of the Department of Education on basic benefits in people's lives. So we got to talk about it, but he almost knows that by being controversial, you then garner a lot of media attention, which then gives you a strange amount of power. But the thing that bothers me is a lot of times people, and I get it, will say, especially during the campaign season, that Trump benefits from getting so much attention. Now it makes sense he's going to get a lot of attention. He's the actual president. But I hear that criticism going back to sort of 2015, 2016. The thing that we shouldn't lose sight of, though, when we levy that criticism, which is a fair one, don't give just all of this free media attention to candidates when it's not proportional to what you're giving to other candidates. But at the same time, the media is trying to cover things that are of relevance. And when one candidate's being particularly crazy, you'd think talking about that a lot would be a good warning to people as to why they shouldn't support that candidate. So the real problem might not be the attention, but the fact that people are drawn to that. Why? To me, the more I hear from Trump, the more I'm confirmed in my belief that he should not be the president. It's so disturbing to me. As fair as the criticism is about how we cover him, that covering him would be beneficial to him instead of detrimental. And I think the way that I cover him, obviously I think I'm trying my best, would not be beneficial. But given that sort of since 2016, we've been grappling with, should you intentionally try not to give much attention before someone's really attained power? But the real underlying problem that needs to be addressed is that once he got the attention by being a horrible human being, his wording there, which is what he says gives you the sort of the ability to win in the Republican Party, I guess, then how was that appealing to people? That's the real question. Share your thoughts. I'm not trying to give free endorsements of any energy drinks. Share your thoughts in the comments. Support the show. Get the members only bonus show by clicking that join button below.